First question to you is, while RBI did mention that they may
Good morning, ma'am.
relook at the ALM norms for NBFCs, how do you study the impact of the recent liquidity tightness on REC? Take us through your ALM book picture as well.
Oh, good morning, and thanks for having me here. The REC is a 50-year-old company, is a track record of 50 years of continued profitability. Our ALM is very well managed. Our board is very robust. We review this on a regular basis. We follow all the prudential norms that are in vogue. We strictly follow the regulators' prescriptions. So we are very comfortable. I think we are one of those companies, notwithstanding the market, continues to grow. Our loan book year on year has grown about 17% at the end of the first quarter. Our revenues have grown 20%, and the net profit after tax for the first quarter is grown 37% compared to the last year. So we are maintaining the robust growth. The power sector is notwithstanding some prognostications that the power sector has problems. I think overall there have been never better times for the power sector growth in the country.
But do you see, Mr. Ramesh, tighter RBI norms for NBFCs like you going forward? What could they be? I mean, do you see largely an environment where there is more regulation?
We welcome regulation, a stronger oversight. We are also, we adhere to the highest both prudential norms and the principles of governance. We welcome any type of a norms. I mean, let me also clarify this. Of the loan book of nearly 2,50,000 crores, 86% of our lending has been to the government sector, the state utilities, the central public sector undertaking. So it's our exposure to the private sector is about 13.8%, and then here we are part of a consortium. We are part of a consortium with the other commercial banks, I mean both public and the private sector banks. So in all those lending, we've already following all the prudential norms and the norms prescribed by the Reserve Bank of India. So when we talk about NBFCs, we need to recognize the fact that there's a whole slew of them, you know that, and we are one of those who are well governed. We manage our finances with utmost diligence. We are on a very firm footing as a financial institution, as an NBFC, as an infrastructure financing company, and as a major driver of power sector development in this country.
Give me a sense of your total liability book, and also if you could give me a sense how much of your liability book currently is because of commercial borrowing.
No, I mean, we have access to concessional borrowing only to the tune of the 54 EC bonds, where for the capital gains tax investment for a duration of 5 years. We don't have any more tax-free bonds. So virtually our entire borrowings have been from the market, and of which we have, our loan book is currently around 2,50,000 crores aggregate. We are net worth of about 32,000 crores, and our exposure to the overseas debt market in the dollar denominated bonds and syndicated loans are of the tune of about 27,000 crores. The rest is all domestic borrowings, and of this the 54 EC is about 10% at the aggregate level. The rest is essentially largely bonds, and part of it is through loans. We don't resort to short-term lending. We don't resort to rollovers. We are highly disciplined financial institution.
Can you give me a broader sense on how liquidity in the system is moving, because every NBFC we've spoken to, they have a different view. So what is your understanding of the crunch in the market? I mean, it may not impact REC because you're a government company, you understand interest rate cycles, but do you think that there is a massive slowdown coming across the board in NBFCs because interest rates are moving up and banks currently have capital and NBFCs don't have capital, so they may end up losing market share?
It would be difficult for me to, I wouldn't like to speculate and I wouldn't like to comment on what others are doing or not doing. I mean, certainly the interest rates are going up, the cost of capital continues to raise, though we, through a tactical management, we continue to keep our lending, borrowing at a lower level. Nevertheless, I mean, it is the pressure of the market is inevitable. However, as far as, I mean, I can only speak for REC, and REC, we continue to raise resources, our demand continues to grow, our disbursement rates are picked up much faster momentum during the current period. So we are not facing the problems that are perhaps germane to some of the smaller NBFCs and in a different space altogether. We are circumscribed to the power sector, and I can only speak for the sector with which I work for.
Okay, fair point. Could you quantify that, Mr. Ramesh? How much is your short-term borrowing? How much is it that you've borrowed from banks and CPs?
I mean, I don't have the data. I mean, I don't like to make comments without having the information right on my head. But I can, our ALM is very well balanced. I mean, our asset liability management, there's a separate committee for that. The board reviews this periodically. I review that every month. We are very well managed as far as our asset liability balance is concerned.
Okay. What about your margins? Because in the first quarter, what we saw was that your margins came under a bit of pressure at 3 point. Sure. Go ahead, please.
No, I mean, the point I wanted to make is that we don't resort to short-term borrowings because all our lending is medium-term and long-term. So I just wanted to make that point. So we very carefully manage our asset liability balance.